Normally, when I do play video games, hitting off with girls is actually pretty easy. In Stardew Valley, for example, you simply talk to a girl daily. Or just think of The Sims 4, where you high-five a complete stranger long enough until he leaves behind their spouse, house, belongings, and children. This, or you just put some naughty quality paintings on the wall. So it blew my mind when I recently played one of my beloved farming sims and I just couldn't get the girl of my choice to like me. Like, at all. And since I thought it isn't fair that I'm the only one who is suffering, I'm now going to drag you down on my level. I'm starting off the list kinda innocently with this bubblegum looking girl from Harvest Moon: A New Beginning, Michelle, who has an interesting character to say the least. To keep mechanics simple, this game has something like hard events that are unlocked at certain hard levels. Those can be raised by chatting and giving gifts. And after a few hard events you can finally start a relationship, unlocking even more hard events. Yeah. Now you may think that hard events don't even sound like they're more trouble than just talking, right? Nope. While most of the love interests would not be bothered about what I walk around with in my rucksack, Michelle does. And oh boy, she can't hide the big dollar signs in her eyes. For the second hard event you need a chocolate pudding, which sounds innocent enough, but it's also locked behind befriending someone else. The third one needs a diamond, and the fourth event needs a pink diamond. This means that you, as the player, end up filling the big dark hole in her heart with a lot of diamonds, creating what I like to call the big hole of Harvest Moon. And while those items are certainly kinda weird in a time where everyone can look up nearly everything on the internet, you know, stuff like what the big hole is, or that you only need 6 liters of sauerkraut juice to fill up your daily proteins. But let us not get distracted by the awesome effects of vegetable juices here. So when you're able to look up everything and anything on the internet, the rating for Michelle may seem rather unjustified. Which may be even true, but as I said in the beginning, a new beginning. No, I'm not sorry about that one. I wanted to start this list off with innocence, because hell is about to unleash. Number 4 is a rather special character, because this character is neither a boy or a girl. Technically, he, she, it ends up being the opposite of whatever gender you decided on playing, so I stick with she in this case. I am of course talking about the beloved, also ever annoying, why can I never beat you in sales, I freaking hate you, Jamie from the good old Harvest Moon Magical Melody. While marrying itself in Magical Melody is way easier than in the first game I mentioned, since you just need to have 8 hearts, a big cozy bed, and no hard events to gain any girl you want, Jamie is different. Oh, so different. In order to marry Jamie, I would have to ship one of every crop in the game, which takes a few years when they're planned right from the get-go, and I do not wanna brag here, but I haven't even managed to sell a singular strawberry in this game so far. Going for Jamie would also force me to complete the whole storyline for her by collecting 50 musical notes, which we get by doing the most random things like waking up poor or doing nothing. Yep. Nothing. And I don't wanna brag here again, but I've never ever finished this storyline too. Huh. Maybe I should have done that for once after starting like 10 save files. That would be an idea, right? But at least I managed to marry. Back to Jamie. After I went through the long and tedious list of tasks Jamie forces you to complete, I can proudly say that I'm now able to safely marry Jamie. And by safely I mean the exact opposite of safely. I'm talking about a death and decay level of safely marrying her. Why? Because Jamie was only coded to be a marriable character in the last second of the game, so they added a mechanic to prevent the whole game from misbehaving when being married to her. Everyone complains about not being able to marry Jamie. Just add this into the game already. But boss, we don't have the time to test how the game reacts after marrying her. Well, just cut out that part then. What a magnificent idea, sir. Come on everyone, raise your thumbs. You too should not forget to raise your thumbs by liking this video. This funny mechanic makes Jamie the only character in the game. No, probably even in the whole franchise that single-handedly ends your game. which weirdly enough is still nothing compared to the next 3 girls. Now, our next play hard to get girl comes from the old Harvest Moon series for the DS version of the game, appropriately called Harvest Moon DS. While I haven't played this entry in the series for longer than 2 hours, the marriage requirements in this version are pretty close to a new beginning, but with the exception that you have to free the Harvest Goddess to marry anyone at all. In this game, there are 2 characters that stand out like sore thumbs, and one of them is the Witch Princess. In order to bewitch the Witch Princess, you have to watch her hard events like with every other bachelorette, with the little twist that her requirements are a little unique. Let's call it unique. Right. For you to be able to take part in her second hard event, you gotta slowly poison the whole village by throwing in poisonous mushrooms into the annual festival's hotpot for at least 5 years. And when all these people then are out for your blood, whenever you try to escape the valley, she then wants to see you fail miserably. She will only be happy and start to like you when you're mean, struggle, fail, and faint. A lot. Oh yeah, you also have to throw trash on the ground. Now, all of these things are actually kinda easy to do, but they just seem kinda weird to me because this rather implies that the witch doesn't only hate the valley, but also you. But do not worry, the witch does not only hate the valley and you, she also hates animals. Yes, animals. In fact, she hates them so much. Not only does she want to see those charming round cows and lovely chickens to be in a total misery, she actually does not want to see them. Wait, that can't be true. This is true and proven by various sources? Huh. Okay, let's roll with that then. She actually does not want to see the animals alive at all. So you better be prepared to unlive 50 of your precious animals. Talking about some high bars for a second date. Just a few rotting chickens in your basement later, you can now marry the Witch Princess. Okay, not before you also shave 10,000 gifts in her face. Yes, 10,000. This number, by the way, is not exaggerated, it is literally 10,000 gifts. But hey, after that you're at least finally able to marry her. Except you just don't, because the American version 1.0 of the game has a bug that prevents the animal death counter from working. I'm just glad we haven't sacrificed anything so far. The bug got patched later on, so nowadays you're free to do this fun marriage if you really want to. In the end, the witch might be hard to marry, but at least she doesn't ruin your game file like some other certain someone. Surprise, surprise, who would have guessed that the second place goes to the other sore thumb? The true, the one and only, Harvest Goddess itself. So, how many more requirements worse than animal sacrifices could the goddess possibly have? The answer? Nearly all of her requirements are worse. For starters, there are some easier ones like reaching the last level in the mines and getting a legendary sword. And I know how this one sounds, but even finding all 101 harvest sprites still is like an easy goal when compared to the other things you have to do for her. By the way, do you remember how the witch needed 10,000 gifts? The goddess only needs 500 of them, which makes her kinda cute. Till you find out that unlike the witch, you can only do 1 gift per day, which makes me rather want to participate in a real marathon. But after that you're at least able to marry her, except you just don't, because in the American version 1.0... Hold on, that sounds familiar. It turns out that the same North American version 1.0 that prevents you from marrying the witch also prevents the necklace from being noted in the Find Everything in the Mines list, which you have to do to get closer to your goddess. That also got patched out, by the way, if your urge for self-inflicted pain still is not satisfied after sacrificing your soul to the witch. Version 1.0 also roadblocks another requirement, being shipping every item. It got patched too. But the most hilarious thing you have to do when going for the goddess to be your goddess is that you also have to catch one type of fish 10,000 times. Yes, again, 10,000 times. Great job, guys, what a fun way to make things hard for the player. But the weirdest thing is that for some reason only those 2 girls are that absurdly hard to hit on. So, Screw you goddess, I'm going for the same face but as an even cuter mermaid. And if you thought the whole process of hitting on the witch or the harvest goddess is strange, you're not going to believe the next one. It is absolutely mind-blowing. Because the developers also thought it would be a cool idea to raise their affection whenever I reach milestones for like catching a fish, fainting, or straight up getting rid of your animals. Some of those milestones like catching one type of fish for the goddess go as high as 100 million times. 100 million. If you need 4 seconds to catch a single fish, you would need to fish 13 years in real life time. 13 real life years. And for what? For a freaking love boost. Honestly, I have no idea what they were thinking. Or if they were thinking at all. As every bachelorette has been from a Harvest Moon game so far, I can proudly say that the first place isn't a Harvest Moon game. This time we got Rune Factory, where... No, wait, I guess it is a Harvest Moon after all. In this game, friendship and love aren't actually acting as the same thing. I know, shocking, right? The key takeaway here is that chatting and gifts can be useless for certain characters now. While some do increase affection when you do talk to them or give them gifts, other candidates get a love boost when you do things they love to do too, like Melody, who loves to stalk you when you enjoy your daily bath. My number one, on the other hand, doesn't have such an easy way to get her to like you, nor do flirting and gifts affect her at all, with really few tiny little exceptions. It is May. As I mentioned before, she's one of those people not affected by attention, your casual flirting skills, or gifts. Except on the fishing day because she's Japanese, so she has to love fish or something. Her preferred gift, love snappers, follows in line with that too. And even though any site states other love gifts too, everyone still goes with love snappers when trying to hit on her for some reason. And I couldn't figure out why by the life of mine. I imagine it to be probably because one love snapper is needed to propose to her, so everyone was like, well, if we have to catch one, why not 11? Or something like that. Are those fishes hard to get? Well, kinda, but not game-breaking hard. They just happen to only be available in winter and only with the highest fishing rod. Misty Bloom Cave is just a whole mess of a game design on its own. Alright. Now let us say we got the fish. What is up next? You then wait for the fishing day to give her all but one. That all sounds so easy that you probably still do not have any clue on why that makes her my number one spot. See, you still got one love snapper remaining. And this fish needs to be at a really high level. And let me tell you one thing. You can't possibly catch a fish with a level this high. The answer to this lies within every anime's favorite superpower. The power of friendship. But not the friends you made in the game. Forget about them, they're worthless. What I mean are friends like real life friends, you know? The really real ones, like those seen on TV. That kind of friends. And sadly, not every friend will do. She also needs to have one DS and their own copy of Rune Factory to trade the fish back and forth with the help of this. What? You're going to ask how a stupid shell on the beach is increasing the level of the fish? Oh, you! You know we must never question the wisdom of the magic conch. After a bit of tennis with a friend and the fish, you then throw this fish into May's face, which makes her instantly fall for you. So, in short, you need the best fishing rod, patience, love snappers, and the right friend/club member. Or the money to buy a second DS with another copy of Rune Factory, which altogether costs probably just around 60 bucks. That's cheaper than friends, right? Considering the latter, this would probably make her the third place, or maybe even the fourth. But since we are all broke lone gamer nerds without friends, May will always be impossible for us to marry. Or we just cheat. Now there are probably a lot of girls out there which are missed, so if you know any honorable mentions, just write their names and their games down into the comments below. And when you're already down in the comments section, you can also subscribe at the same moment, isn't that great? Now, as much as I love hitting on girls way above my league, there's one thing that I love more. And that is sleep. And what could be better than earning the third best thing while doing the best thing while dreaming about the second best thing? to see how I turned this dream into reality in Stardew Valley, check out this video right next. I will see you there. Bye bye! I know I was the one who said this in the beginning, but please don't drink 6 liters of sauerkraut juice daily. It's a really bad idea. That was probably way too much sauerkraut juice.